Well, all eyes were on Optus Stadium in Perth today, certainly Labor eyes, as Anthony Albanese launched the campaign for the ALP. Ashleigh Gillon is in Perth. She was there. Ashleigh, what did you make of all of that? I didn't hear too much I hadn't already heard from the Labor leader.
There weren't too many big spending announcements. We did have a few policy announcements, but they were on the smaller side. And you could argue that this is going to be Labor's approach for the next 3 weeks, that they do just want to get through the next 3 weeks and continue on with sort of small target strategy. In terms of Albanese's performance, well, rather than looking at highlights, you could probably look at that there weren't really any lowlights in terms of no major stumbles, no big gaffes. Anthony Albanese really had to emerge from his COVID isolation period, showing that he's ready and raring to go for these final 3 weeks. And he did that today. He brought the sort of energy that he needed to. He was obviously in a forum that's a really friendly one. This is preaching to the converted. It's full of the party faithful. Around 600 or so people had gathered here today to hear from Anthony Albanese and also from Mark McGowan. It's got to be said that the WA Premier was probably one of the drawing cards for a lot of people who turned up today. He's still got this superstar status here in the West, and Anthony Albanese was certainly keen to hitch his coattails to Mark McGowan. He knows that he's such a popular leader and he wants that Mark McGowan magic to rub off on him, I think, while he's over here in Perth and looking to pick up a few seats here in the West. Swan, Pearce, Labor seems really confident that they're going to be winning those 2 seats off the Liberal Party. Hasluck, another seat, Ken Wyatt's seat. Ken Wyatt sounds like he's in a bit of trouble in Hasluck, but that could really go either way. In terms of other interesting battlegrounds over here, Chris, I think Curtin is really interesting. Now, Labor is irrelevant in Curtin from a perspective of they're never going to have a Labor member there, but that's the only Teal independent at play here in Western Australia. Kate Chaney up against the sitting Liberal MP Celia Hammond, and Kate Chaney really giving it a red-hot go in terms of rattling the Liberals in that seat of Curtin.
We all expected him to take the mickey out of Scott Morrison and bring up aspects of the way bushfires are handled and, of course, the vaccine. He did all of that and a little bit more to a couple of other coalition ministers. Have a look at this.
You see, I know I can count on Penny and Richard, Katie and Jim, and so many others to make the arguments for Labor. But who's he got? Alan Tudge and Peter Dutton. The unspeakable and the unthinkable. And then, of course, there's Barnaby Joyce, the inexplicable.
Ashleigh, it's been very much part of his shtick right from the beginning of the campaign. As a matter of fact, during the campaign before Christmas as well, where he uses personality politics to denigrate the coalition. He did it today too.
Well, I think Anthony Albanese was capitalising on the fact that over the past week he's been out of action and he's been putting forward his Labor team members in his shoes, and a lot of the analysis has been that this was perhaps the best week that Labor's had on the campaign is when we've had Jason Clare, Penny Wong, Christina Keneally, Jim Chalmers all front and centre taking on that role while Anthony Albanese was out of action. So I think Anthony Albanese was trying to capitalise on that he believes he's got a really strong front bench that is full of depth and trying to contrast with what he sees as a weaker Liberal front bench. But from the coalition side, they're certainly wanting to make this all about Anthony Albanese. I think the coalition has decided that that's their best strategy in terms of highlighting some of Anthony Albanese's weaknesses, and they're trying to really focus on the 2 men at the top, that this is a choice between Anthony Albanese and Scott Morrison.